So now we'll go back to item 7, which is habitability. Thank you, by the way. Which is the habitability hearing. Sorry. And number 1 is 413 Raritan Avenue. Council.
Thank you. So we're here tonight, as we mentioned, for the habitability hearing on 413 Raritan Avenue, which is block 35, lot 2.01. And I know there's been a lot of conversation about this property and a lot of interest in this property. And I just like to reiterate to the public that we're here to discuss the standards regarding the property itself and whether it meets the criteria onto the property that meets the livability. So that's just kind of the opening salvo on that. We went in on an administrative search warrant back in.
We're going to shut it off.
So we went in an administrative search warrant based upon complaints of rats and rodents emanating from the property. We had Mike McCarty from the County Health Department as our health officer, who gave the opinion that, notwithstanding the treatment methods that were being utilized on the property itself, the rodents were actually expanding and spreading throughout the property. So it was his opinion that the rats were actually coming from inside the property, inside the house itself, the structure. So we went in on a search warrant. We placed bait down inside the property, and during the course of our entry into the property, we took photographs of the inside of the house. And I'd like to share with the council those photographs so the council can see for itself. And they've been marked RB, Raritan Borough 1 through Raritan Borough 11. And those are just photographs of the inside of the structure. And as you'll see, the structure itself, while structurally sound, is, in my opinion, unfit for human habitation. There was feces, and you'll see pictures of feces throughout the property. Not human feces, but animal feces. They had dogs. They had apparently there was a pig that was harbored down in the basement as well. There are gallon jugs filled with what appears to be urine scattered throughout the premises as well. And the property was subsequently condemned, boarded up by the borough as being unsafe and unfit. And what we're trying to effectuate now is a remedy to the conditions. We're trying to clean up the house. And so if the council decides and determines that, yes, this meets the criteria, in my opinion, it does meet the criteria of a structure that's unfit for human habitation, then it can order first the offending matter to be removed, the property to be repaired, and that's an order that goes against the property owner. If the property owner does not comply with that order, then the borough can reserve upon itself the right to go in there and effectuate those repairs to, in essence, clean up the property, in the interior of the property, to get it to a state that's suitable, and the costs incurred by the borough in doing that would then become a lien, a first position municipal lien against the property. So the property owner is, you know, he's a war veteran. He has issues from his time in the service. I have a correspondence here from his attorney. I've been in contact with his attorney. His attorney advised me that he was not showing up tonight. You know, that's perfectly fine. He would like to get in to remove some of his remaining personal possessions. I advised his attorney that we're not raising the property. We're not doing anything other than presumably issuing an order to have that property cleaned up, and that's his first right to do that. And if he doesn't do that, then we'll take whatever measures we need after that. So.
Is he represented here tonight by name?
I don't know, is Ms. Buckley here? No. She probably should have come,
May I say something? I'm actually the real estate broker that is in charge of the short sale settlement. I'm also a VA registered REO broker. So I am here. My name is Alex Mosquera, Mosquera.
Okay, and you're going to give testimony. I was going to swear you in. Do you mind? Are you want to raise your right hand? You solemnly swear to testimony you have to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Okay.
Excuse me. Is he abstaining? Do you abstain?
He does, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anyone can speak, yeah, that's fine.
So I just came on behalf of,
Are you with Terrace?
Tara.
Terra.
Yes, I'm the broker of record for Tara. So my office specializes in distressed properties. I am a real estate owned certified broker for Fannie Mae and VA loans. And I just wanted to come here to offer assistance. I do represent an investor that is purchasing this property, and I may be able to, while Mr. Woody is financially unable to remedy the property, maybe there is a way that I could work with the city and the investor to get the property in a position where maybe it's cleaned. The problem with the lien is that Wells Fargo, which is currently the lien holder, will not engage in the settlement if there is a substantial lien on the property. So I could probably work with the investor who's purchasing it to assist the city, make sure that it's in a condition that is safe for the neighbors. But that way the cost is incurred on the new purchaser.
Right, so there is no lien, there's no lien as of this moment, and the property owner or on his behalf, if you want to get involved, can undertake the remediation of the property.
Okay.
The lien only attaches if the borough has to effectuate that remediation because of the failure of the property owner or his interested parties to do so.
Of course.
So that's something that's totally proper.
Well, in addition to that, the borough has spent somewhere in the vicinity of $8,000 to $10,000.
Mhm.
And in essence, what we're looking to do is we're looking to get paid.
Of course.
There's an easy way and there's a hard way. And it's in no one's interest to spoil a transaction, but by the same token, the borough isn't going to be a fool.
Of course.
And this is something that is obviously more in your neighborhood than mine, but I thought it was prudent to say that that is a priority because we're not in the habit of spending public money at a private residence, and a private residence who has been, frankly, incredibly selfish and difficult to deal with, and was counterproductive in most of the steps that we took. And so, while he may have served our country, and I recognize that, he has done a terrible deed to the neighborhood. As you heard, if you were here earlier, you heard from some of the residents already. So, I don't know how you would proceed, but I just want to make sure that we proceed from the point of view that the borough gets paid what it is spent, and it would be documented, of course.
Of course.
And certified.
Right.
But I just want to make sure that that's clear.
Right, so my recommendation, if the council wants to issue that order, would be to issue the order directing that the property owner.
Well, the reason I bring it is does that, now I know we're getting into nuance here, but as I said, I don't want to spoil the transaction, but I also don't want to essentially stand on the outside looking in. So if we were to have an order, would that have a deleterious effect of what positive thing they're trying to do?
No, because the only deleterious effect that would occur would be in the event that a lien attached due to the fact that the property owner didn't undertake the remediation and the borough had actually undertaken the remediation. So if we direct the property owner to undertake the remediation and this gentleman here in your company, in conjunction with Wells Fargo or whomever, actually effectuates the remediation, there's not going to be a lien that attaches. And obviously, part of that.
In this world, is there a side letter? And I don't know municipal well enough to know that, but could we have a side letter agreement with the would-be purchaser? Recognizing.
Not procedurally, not under this process, no. I mean, it's. Right. And candidly, we're happy to have you guys here. This was really.
Yes. And that's the spirit of the conversation.
That was really why we did this.
Definitely, and we obviously,
wanted to poke the bear and get your attention.
We've, well, we're actually glad that the other attorney reached out to us because we were unaware of the
Wells Fargo's aware, but.
Well, Wells Fargo, the problem is that they're so big that they don't communicate well within their different departments, so, I think that an order from the municipality would in fact help me persuade Wells Fargo to probably expedite this a bit faster. I don't promise that Wells Fargo will close the settlement soon, but I think that maybe together we could work with the investor who understands the nature of the situation and could get in prior to with an order, of course, and consent from the owner to help the property reach a condition that satisfies the council.
Sure. That is the tip of the point, is that you hit it right on the head, because, again, I don't think you were here, but I don't know, but the fact of the matter is there's still ancillary effects of somewhat outrageous behavior at that site. And so I don't want to get into a standstill situation with the borough. And so that what I think smart people can do is figure this out. I'm not saying that the legal structure within which we find ourselves envisions these types of arrangements, but by the same token, the object is to get the job done.
Agreed.
So, Counselor, I would like your recommendation how to proceed in light of essentially the intentions of the parties, while making sure that we're not in a standstill situation, that closing doesn't occur and it's 1 month and 5 months and 9 months.
Right, so, I mean, again, my recommendation would be for an order to issue from the council directing the property to be remediated, cleaned up, the offending matter removed, placed back into a position of habitability,
Within what period of time?
30 days from now. And if within that 30 days it doesn't happen, post 30 days, then the borough should reserve upon itself the right to go in there and to effectuate that remediation. In the event that it has to do that, then you're talking about the lien, and then you're talking about possibly impairing the ability of Wells Fargo to do the short sale, but that's...
Yeah, if I may offer a suggestion, I don't think that the investor, the amount of money that you're going to need to inject into the property to make it habitable again immediately, I think is beyond the investor's ability without having possession or conveyance of title to the property. I think that my suggestion would be that we have the investor get into the property, have his contractors remove sheetrock, carpeting, and get it to a point where the property is acceptable to the council, but also locked and secured. So maybe it may
Locked and secured means what?
Vacant, locked and
okay.
secured, meaning not to be habited by anybody, because then at that point the property would stay in that status
Condition.
until the lien holder agrees to convey title to the investor. Then the investor can come in, take out proper permits, and get the property habitable again.
Okay, so
So basically gut the place.
what time frame is that?
Well, I mean, we can get an estimate immediately. We do allow for
Within
different
30
vendors.
days.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Take out a permit and basically gut the place, because honestly, there was so much feces in that property that I don't think any of that can be saved.
Right.
You're right.
Right. Right, okay.
I'm still stuck on
Oh, I'm kind of too now, to be honest.
Do we have to open this? Do we have to open this? Are we required to open this to the public?
No, you can, no.
Can
you
we?
don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to, but you're welcome to.
For what purpose?
I'm not sure that's...
The woman's got a question or something in the back here.
I think let us continue through the conversation, because we're trying to get to a place, and I think we're all trying to get to the same place. And specifically, you spoke earlier, and it's loud and clear, that the infestation is still present. And in essence, what occurs here is that with respect to the essentially ripping the place down to the rafters, essentially gets rid of, in my judgment, the hiding places, And that in concert with a rat control situation is a leap forward. And so if there's something different than that, fine, but we're at a little bit of a conundrum at the moment, because it's essentially, it's good to have the place ripped down to the studs, if I may put it that way, and clean. I mean, that's frankly in everyone's benefit. It's a risk that your investor is taking of whatever amount of money, I don't know, and that's their business. And then I'm stuck on our $8,000 to $10,000 that continues to grow. And in essence, frankly, even with the removal of the interior sheetrock, et cetera, down to the studs, it'll create, again, another wave of migration, which is going to have to occur regardless whether you do it or we do it or whatnot. And so I think the issue really is that, yeah, it's great that you do it and we don't, and I understand you're doing that, and that's why we're sort of looking towards the side letter on the $8,000 or whatever, as well as I think a component part of this that I think your investors should be aware of is that rodent control would essentially be part of the package.
Understood. Is it any way possible, and I've done this in other properties where certain parties have had an interest in purchasing, would the city be willing to sell that $8,000 lien or sign it to the investor so that the investor could then control that with the purchase with Wells Fargo?
If it was a lien, yes, but it's not, so what the mayor's talking about, the $8,000 is not actually a lien yet. It's just actual hard costs incurred by the borough in dealing with this property and dealing with, you know, the applications that go up for the search warrant and dealing with the
Yeah,
rats.
and that's where we're going, to make it a lien, but that sort of screws you up.
Yeah, and that's why.
Could we
if-
assign our rights? But that's not gonna give you what you want with the bank.
Well, in essence, I think it would be a point where the lien holder, being Wells Fargo, could still proceed with the sale, understanding that the purchaser is already in control of the debt on the property. What they do not want to engage in is multiple party negotiations.
Understand. There may not be an answer right here on that.
I think if you can give me your card,
Definitely.
and we can talk offline,
Okay.
we can probably work something
Okay.
out. I think in the meantime.
No, okay, if we're at the point then, I would like to, if there's something different that you would like to add, please do.
Just, I'm concerned about the outside of the property too. Are you talking about at the same time you're doing the inside, the yard, which is horrendous, will be cleaned up also?
No. I didn't think that, and I apologize, I had never walked the back of the yard, but in speaking with our Public Works, I was advised that the back of the yard was okay.
The front of the yard, though, they've taken out some of the retaining wall.
Right.
That really needs to be.
So you're speaking visual.
Yeah, as far as being included.
You know, the Department of Public Works began work on the exterior of the property in early September, but they had to stop because the rat infestation was so
Right.
huge. And you know, they ripped, and there's a deck back there, and the back that is probably, there's a lot of rats back there, because they told me they saw a lot of rats back there.
It's a fact situation, 'cause I did speak with our acting, Bobby
Yeah.
Philamonte, and, because I did want him to go back, that I thought we had at least some measurable control, and I was advised, and I have to tell you, I personally didn't walk up that property, go into the back, but I was advised that the back was clear.
Because I heard there's a shed back there that's full of stuff.
Well, I think at the moment, if, it would be my understanding, whatever council of course wants to do, but I mean, if there's a shed back there, and given the amount of work that we did, we can go there, we can add a couple $100 to the bill, and we can knock out the shed.
Yeah, because we're concerned because the weather's turning colder.
I understand.
And we just don't want the rats traveling
I
around to
understand.
our nice warm houses.
I understand.
Looking for a place to
I
bunk for the
understand
winter.
perfectly. We absolutely understand. But I tend to believe that, and we're in that $8,000 to $10,000 area, and I think that if we went and took a look at the back, we wouldn't get up to the 10,000 for sure. Just to give orders of magnitude, because no one's feather bedding here, very honestly, we're just trying to deal with this. So, in light of that, that may be the most prudent thing to do, because we can get Public Works there sooner than they will. And then we could continue with our accounting as we have. And then you could deal with these guys in terms of how to figure this out.
Here, I have a quick question.
Yeah, please do,
This
yeah.
gentleman. You say your investor plans on gutting the house, it's gonna need gutting. Your definition of gutting, does that include taking down the walls?
Correct.
The sheetrock walls, down to the studs.
Okay.
Is that what you said, yes?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Because we had a situation over 10 years ago, Denise remembers, up in my neighborhood, where a woman bought a house and not realizing what was inside it, and rats had made homes inside the walls.
I'm sure they did, but we have a lot to do tonight, so.
Fine.
Anything else? Yes?
No, so
Second,
the count, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, no, you go ahead.
What, no, you want to, I said.
He's gonna wrap it up, so
I'm
you're
gonna wrap it
gonna
up.
say something, say it.
That's what I was gonna say.
Nothing, we're gonna do something right now,
Yes.
right? Okay.
All right, so it'll be resolution 2016-11-175, a resolution ordering the remediation of the interior of the property located at 413 Raritan Avenue, including but not limited to the removal of offending noxious materials such as feces, urine, etc., within 30 days. In the event the property is not remediated in such a fashion, the borough will take upon itself the right to remediate the property and impose the cost of such remediation as a lien against the property.
Okay. You have a motion for that, please? Second. Dr. Cecilia and Councilman Giraldo. Stan, roll call, please.
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Council President Kara.
Yes.
Councilman Bowie.
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi.
Yes.
Councilman Sebelia.
Yes.
All righty, thank you, and I
Thank you for your
I hope
time.
you can, the successful negotiations.